Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 19th of June 2023. Now the prices of Bitcoin in particular has definitely pumped up and the global cryptocurrency market has actually pumped up, and this is because of massive news is circulating right now about BlackRock getting into the Bitcoin NFT game. So in today's episode guys, we'll very briefly touch base on that. And guys, listen, you need to know that BlackRock is if not one of the biggest asset manager, and at one point of time they had over $13 trillion worth of assets under management. Now that number has gone down and right now it is roughly around $10 trillion, but them getting into the Bitcoin ETF game will definitely be ideal. But how does it impact Bitcoin? So we'll definitely go ahead and very briefly touch base on that. And guys, listen, ever since ChatGPT made headways, there's quite a lot of news regarding artificial intelligence, and lately what I'm noticing while LinkedIn is people have become experts in artificial intelligence overnight, and because of that, there's also a report circulating by McKinsey right now that general artificial intelligence would be worth $4 trillion. So we'll very briefly touch base on this, and the reason why I don't want to get into details, because in the past guys, Deloitte and McKinsey has put out reports stating supply chain management would be the massive thing in blockchain technology. Unfortunately, those reports haven't materialized. Now in today's episode guys, we have three massive news regarding Binance. The first one looks like some trouble so far as money laundering is concerned in France. The second one is an update on Binance US, and the third one guys is regarding Binance in Nigeria. Looks like the Binance entity in Nigeria was completely fake, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that. And finally guys, we also have some update regarding Bitcoin ordinals, and looks like they have reached a new milestone, and fortunately guys, the mining industry is definitely benefiting because of that. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore what that news is all about. Now, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee 88 podcast, guys, we are going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. Now, the first news is about OKX Exchange, and they have received MVP preparatory license from Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So definitely positive news. And the second news, guys, is regarding artificial intelligence, and the news is that Saudi Data and AI Authority is recognized for achieving maturity in software development. So we'll definitely very briefly touch base on that. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode, so let's get started with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee 88, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee 88 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee 88. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee 88, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee 88, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee 88 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalu Group, a luxury retailer and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal guys, they are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse, and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now, what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now, instead of E, they've replaced it with Web3, and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now, if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below, you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse, and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, last week, guys, there was this possibility that the global cryptocurrency market would go below the $1 trillion mark. Fortunately, that did not happen, and the global cryptocurrency market stands at $1.07 trillion. And this, guys, is only because of news of BlackRock possibly getting into Bitcoin ETFs. So we'll very briefly touch base on that. Now, since the last 24 hours, though, it is marginally down by 0.39%. Now, mind you, guys, you need to understand that the data that I'm looking at is in the early hours of Monday. So technically, it is still Sunday in the Western countries, and that's one of the reasons why the numbers may not be looking good. The total cryptocurrency market over the last 24 hours is only at $17.92 billion. This number, guys, should definitely change by Monday or Tuesday, as in when mainstream media picks up news regarding BlackRock getting into the Bitcoin ETF. Now, unfortunately, since the last 24 hours, so far as the volume is concerned, it is down by 30.35%. The total volume in DeFi, guys, is ridiculously low at $1.22 billion, and so far as the total value locked is concerned, it is at $42.41 billion, and Lido is definitely leading the pack, and so far as its dominance is concerned, it is 29.50%, and its total value locked is $12.74 billion. Now, DeFi, guys, unfortunately is accounting for only 6.79% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now, let's quickly look at the 24-hour volume of DeFi protocols. Now, historically, what happens, guys, is on Saturday and Sunday, the volume actually pumps up, but this time, the volume for DeFi protocols has gone down, and Uniswap's 24-hour volume is only $657.12 million. PancakeSwap volume is $184.34 million, which is number second. Core Finance is number third at $143.71 million, followed by Balancer at $95.34 million, and finally MetaTDEX at $43.9 million. Now, guys, let's very quickly look at the volume of stablecoins. Not only is the volume ridiculously low, it is still accounting for 91.42%. And guys, on Thursday, the volume of stablecoins were accounting for over 99%. Now, could it be a manipulation by BlackRock in order to get the global cryptocurrency market down so that they can go ahead and accumulate Bitcoin? That is definitely a theory that is floating on right now. Now, so far as the volume of stablecoins is concerned, it is only at $16.38 billion. And out of that $16.38 billion, guys, Tether USDT accounts for $12.47 billion. And if you look at its market cap, it is at a staggering $83.17 billion. Now, in today's episode, guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'll go ahead and explain the history of Tether USDT, the team involved in Tether USDT, and quite a lot more. And in tomorrow's episode, we'll look at Circle USDC, and on Wednesday, we'll look at Binance BUSD, and most likely on Thursday, we'll look at another stable coin. Now, so far as USDC's volume is concerned, guys, it is at $1.68 billion, and its market cap is $28.34 billion. And guys, unfortunately, Binance BUSD's market cap is at $4.29 billion, and I wouldn't be surprised if Binance BUSD's market cap goes below the $4 billion mark. But just to give you some perspective, guys, just a few months ago, Binance BUSD's market cap was $16 billion, and because of SEC aggressively going after Binance, the market cap of Binance BUSD has fallen down miserably. And in today's episode, guys, we have 3 news regarding Binance, and unfortunately, all of the news are not positive. As a matter of fact, 2 of them are absolutely negative and definitely not ideal for Binance. And if you look at Binance BUSD's 24-hour trading volume, it is only $1.39 billion. And when Binance BUSD's market cap, guys, was over $13 billion, on an average given day, Binance BUSD's market cap used to hover somewhere between the $6 to $10 billion mark, whereas Circle USDC's 24-hour volume was actually going down. So it looks like the war of stablecoins is definitely coming towards an end, and it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what happens in the next 6 months, and if Binance BUSD is still in the top 3 so far stablecoins is concerned. Now let's quickly look at the market share, 24-hour trading volume, and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, Bitcoin's market cap is a little over $500 billion mark, and it is currently at $517 billion. Ethereum is at $209 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin and Ethereum is not looking good. Now, granted, this is over a weekend, mostly on Sunday in Western countries, and that's one of the reasons why the volume is low. It is only at $8.32 billion for Bitcoin and $3.2 billion for Ethereum, and the dominance of Bitcoin, guys, has surprisingly gone up, and it is at 48.09%, whereas Ethereum is at 19.50%. Now, before we look at the history of Tether USDT and the founding members, let me quickly run through the market cap of privacy coins. Now, Monero is currently at $2.54 billion. The second, guys, is Mask Network at $299 million, and finally Zcash at $225 million. Now listen, guys, if you're a listener who's not from UAE, let me know what your regulations are. So far as privacy coins is concerned, I'll be really curious to find out if your government is actually supporting privacy preserving protocols. Now, guys, let's look at the history of Tether USDT. And look, guys, one thing which I've said time and over again, the biggest black swan event for the cryptocurrency world, and possibly even the extinction of Bitcoin, might just be Tether USDT. But let me try to give out some information on what Tether USDT is. Now, USDT, guys, is a stable coin, and it is a stable value cryptocurrencies that actually mirrors the price of US dollar, and it is issued by a Hong Kong-based company called Tether. Now, the token spec to the USD is achieved via maintaining a sum of commercial paper fiduciary deposits, cash, reserve repo notes, and treasury bills and reserves that is equivalent to USD value to the number of USDT in circulation. And as of now, guys, the circulation is $83.17 billion. But once again, if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is not even half of what it is. Now, one thing to remember, guys, is that Tether was originally launched in 2014, and the original name was actually Realcoin, which was a second layer cryptocurrency token built on top of Bitcoin's blockchain through the use of Omni platform. And it was built through the use of Omni platform. It was later renamed to US Tether and finally changed to USDT. In addition to Bitcoin's USDT was later updated to work on Ethereum, EOS, Tron, Algorand, and OMG blockchain as well. Now, the stated purpose, guys, of USDT is to combine the unrestricted nature of cryptocurrencies, which can be sent between users without a trusted third-party intermediary, with the stablecoin value of the US dollar. But guys, one unfortunate news which I've been noticing is that stablecoins are increasingly being used as an inflation hedge in recent times. This should not be the case. Ideally, it should have been Bitcoin or Ethereum, but nonetheless, let's say if you were to compare it to fiat currencies, as fiat currencies is going down, it is acting as a saving hedge, and in a savings account averaging 0.06%. And what users can do is they can lend their stablecoins and earn yields ranging from 3% to as high as 20%. However, guys, you need to keep in mind that regulatory platform risk and more do actually entail so far as Tether USDT is concerned. Now, let me very briefly, guys, run through the founders of Tether USDT is. Now, the founders of Tether USDT is Brock Pierce, Reeve Collins, and Craig Sellers. Brock Pierce, guys, is the guy who actually named the technology blockchain technology. So often when you hear blockchain technology, it is Brock Pierce who actually named it, and he, guys, was a childhood Hollywood actor as well, and he does have some notorious history, and this is going back to decades ago, but unfortunately that thing has been eliminated. And guys, in the last US election, he also tried to run for president, but unfortunately failed miserably. Now, Brock Pierce, guys, is a well-known entrepreneur who has co-founded a number of high-profile projects in the crypto and entertainment industry. Now, in 2013, he co-founded a venture capital firm called Blockchain Capital, which by 2017 had raised over $80 million in funding. And guys, in 2014, Brock Pierce became the director of Bitcoin Foundation, a non-profit established to help improve and promote Bitcoin. And Brock Pierce, guys, also founded Block One, which is essentially the company beyond EOS. And EOS, guys, as you know, raised $4 billion, and the project has completely wiped off. Now, Reeve Collins was also the CEO of Tether USDT for the first 2 years of its existence, and prior to that, he had co-founded several successful companies such as online ad network Traffic Marketplace, entertainment studio called Red Liver, and gambling website called Pala Interactive. And guys, as of 2020, Collins is heading Smart Media Technologies, which is essentially a marketing and advertising tech companies. Now, let me very briefly explain, guys, what is it that makes Tether USDT unique. Now, USDT's unique feature, guys, is the fact that its value is guaranteed by Tether to remain pegged to the US dollar. And according to Tether, whenever it issues new USDT, it allocates the same amount of USDT to its reserve, thus ensuring that the USDT is fully backed by cash and cash equivalents. The famously high volatility of the crypto market means that cryptocurrencies, guys, can raise or fall by 10 to 20% within a single day or maybe in just a matter of hours, making them unreliable as a store of value. USDT, guys, on the other hand, is protected by these fluctuations. This property, guys, of Tether USDT makes it a safe haven for crypto investors, especially during times of high volatility. What they can do is they can park their portfolios in Tether USDT without having to completely cash it out in USD. In addition, guys, USDT provides a simple way to transact a US dollar equivalent between regions, countries, and even continents via blockchain without having to rely on a slow and expensive intermediary, let's say like a bank or a financial services provider. But guys, listen, what happens once central bank digital currency goes mainstream? Why would you want to use stable coins? However, guys, it's important to know that over the years, there have been a number of controversies regarding the validity Tether claims about the USD reserve, at times disrupting USDT's price as well, and at one point of time it did go below the 0.80 cents mark in its history. And guys, listen, many have raised the fact that Tether's reserves have never been fully audited by an independent third party. And look, guys, one thing which I've said several times, one of the biggest black swan events in the Bitcoin world and the cryptocurrency world just might be Tether USDT. The very first audit was just a pie diagram. Ideally, guys, how it should work is, let's say if Tether USDT has $83 billion, they should be in a position to back these $83 billion 1 to 1 by $1 US. Unfortunately, if you look at the cash reserves or if you look at the bank account statements, less than 3 to 5% is actually in the funds, rest all are paper money. And it's going to be absolutely devastating, guys, possibly even the extinction of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies when SEC begins to go after Tether USDT. But nonetheless, guys, that was some bits and pieces of information regarding Tether USDT. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Now the price of Bitcoin is $26,682, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.80%, and since the last 7 days, guys, it is up by 2.45%. And guys, as we know, since 2023, Bitcoin ordinals, that is NFTs on Bitcoin blockchain, has definitely gained a lot of momentum, and Bitcoin, guys, did actually record 12 million ordinal inscriptions. And because of this, guys, the people that has been benefited the most is actually the miners, and Bitcoin miners, guys, have accumulated $46 million. So listen, guys, if you're a miner, you definitely want your mempool to be full, because what happens is, let's say if the mempool is full, people are willing, or rather will be forced to pay high transaction fees in order for the transaction to go through. And guys, as of June 18, the latest figures actually reveal that over 12.49 million ordinal inscriptions have been recorded on Bitcoin blockchain, and the inscription trend has yielded substantial gains for Bitcoin miners who have accumulated 1,732 Bitcoin, equivalent to roughly around $46 million using today's exchange rate. However, guys, this is where it gets tricky. The BRC20 economy is experiencing a significant decline in its value and has suffered the consequences of Bitcoin's recent price plunge throughout the past week. Now listen, guys, if you're a miner, you would definitely want this news, but let's say as a user, it doesn't make any sense to have Bitcoin ordinals, because if, let's say, you want to send Bitcoins from one person to other, because of Bitcoin ordinals being inscripted, what is happening is the mempool is getting filled, and unfortunately, in order for the transaction to go through, you'll have to pay a much higher fees to the miners. Now, these are unfortunate news for the Bitcoin mining industry, but unfortunately, guys, there is absolutely no two ways about it. Now, guys, let's look at the price of Ethereum. It is at $1,741, and since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.82%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.24%. Binance BNB coin, guys, is $246. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.64%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 3.75%. And unfortunately, guys, we have 3 news regarding Binance. But before that, one news that is circulating right now is regarding BlackRock. And there are talks that the world's biggest asset manager is actually filing for Bitcoin ETF. And the news went out on Thursday, and Reuters actually reported that BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust wallet will actually use Coinbase's custody as its custodian, and looks like they have an official filing with SEC. Now listen, guys, one thing to remember is that the US regulators has yet to approve any application for spot Bitcoin ETF. Now one thing you need to understand, guys, that there is a difference between spot ETF and futures ETF, and as of now, not a single Bitcoin spot ETF has been approved. Now you will be hearing, guys, from a lot of cryptocurrency influencers, or should I say cryptocurrency price influencers, that once a spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, the price of Bitcoin will absolutely pump up. This does not make any sense. So my question to you guys is very simple. How does BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF does actually improve Bitcoin? And the answer, guys, is unfortunately it doesn't. One thing to remember, guys, is a spot Bitcoin ETF would actually track Bitcoin's underlying market price, and proponents are saying that ETF would give investors exposure to Bitcoin without directly buying it. So ideally, you're directly not buying Bitcoin, but you're actually trading, and that's where the whole notion of ETF kicks in. But listen, guys, the cryptocurrency world is absolutely crazy, and in anticipation of this news, I'm pretty much sure the price of Bitcoin would actually pump up. Now, guys, let's talk about some other news that is pumping up quite a lot, even in the Bitcoin and blockchain world, and that is to do with artificial intelligence. And McKinsey, guys, did actually publish a report that states that the next productivity frontier is artificial intelligence, and generative AI, guys, as per the report, is supposed to unleash the next wave of productivity. And the report states that generative AI's impact on productivity could add trillions of dollars in value of the global economy. And McKinsey's latest research states that generative artificial intelligence could add the equivalent of $2.6 trillion to $4.4 trillion annually across 63 use cases. And if you actually read through the report, they have given different areas where they think artificial intelligence could be impacted the most. Now listen, guys, I'm a massive fan of McKinsey, but unfortunately, guys, these are reports, and most of the times they do not come into fruition. I very specifically remember that in 2016 or 2017, McKinsey did actually put up a report stating that in 5 years, the supply chain management in blockchain would be roughly around worth $5 to $7 trillion. Look at supply chain management now in blockchain. It is nowhere close to even $1 trillion. As a matter of fact, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market volume, it is only at $1.10 trillion. So when you're reading through these reports, guys, you also need to take into consideration the previous reports that they have done and have they materialized. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding Binance. Now, let's kickstart by discussing the first news from Binance regarding France. And Binance, guys, is under investigation in France for aggravated money laundering, and Binance, guys, is suspected of illegally providing digital asset services to local customers and implementing poor money laundering checks. It looks like the Paris prosecutor is aggressively going after Binance, and Binance's French unit is under investigation by local authorities for the illegal provision of digital asset services and acts of aggregated money laundering. Now, Binance, guys, is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world by a massive volume and is currently under investigation in France for engaging in illegal activities as a digital asset service provider. And the investigation, guys, is centered around the period before Binance obtained regulatory approval in May 2022. It is alleged that during that time, Binance was operating without the necessary authorization from the regulatory authorities. And this is where it gets interesting, guys, because the investigation is focusing on two main aspects. Firstly, Binance has been accused of involvement in aggregated money laundering. This includes participating in investment operations linked to illegal activities, such as fraud or illicit transactions. Secondly, guys, Binance is suspected of concealing and converting funds obtained through criminal activities, effectively helping perpetrators profit from their offenses. Now listen, guys, it's important to note that Binance did eventually register as a digital asset service provider with the French financial regulator, also called as Autodeurs de Marchés Financiers, also called as AMF. However, the investigation revolves around the period when Binance allegedly conducted business in France without adhering to the legal framework and requirements. Now, this, guys, is not the only legal challenges faced by Binance. The exchange is also facing a lawsuit from the US Securities and Exchange Commission for failing to register as a trading platform for the sale of unregistered securities. And these issues highlight the regulatory scrutiny and challenges faced by Binance on an international scale. And in case of France investigation, guys, it has been reported that Binance's local branch outside of France's legal framework may have actively solicited French customers until 2022, and this suggests that Binance's operations in France were not in compliance with the applicable regulations and requirements during that time. Overall, guys, these investigations and legal actions indicate the growing concerns and increased regulatory focus on cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance, as authorities aim to ensure compliance with regulations, prevent financial crimes, and protect investors. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, the next few months what is the future of Binance, to be honest, because we do have some update regarding US as well. And as we know that the SEC is aggressively going after Binance US. Now the update is that a federal judge signed off a temporary agreement between SEC, Binance, and Binance US affiliate to have Binance US take steps to ensure only local employees can access customer funds as the regulator and companies work through SEC lawsuit. Now let me try to explain it in very simple terms. So the US Securities and Exchange Commission, guys, has been investigating Binance, which is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, for allegedly offering and trading unregistered securities, and the SEC was also concerned that Binance could move funds offshore or destroy records. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to freeze all of Binance's assets temporarily. However, instead of freezing all the assets, a federal judge approved a temporary agreement between SEC, Binance, and its US affiliate called as Binance US. Now mind you, guys, that the Binance USA is a completely different entity and they have a different CEO as well. And according to the agreement, guys, only local employees of Binance US will have access to customer funds from now. This is to ensure that funds are protected while the SEC lawsuit is currently being worked upon. And the judge also ordered the parties involved to propose timelines for broader lawsuit. And as part of the agreements, Binance USA will take steps to prevent officials from the global exchange Binance Holdings from accessing private keys or wallets or having control over certain tools. And guys, Binance USA will also provide detailed information about its business expenses to the SEC. Now, the agreement allows US-based customers to still withdraw their funds from Binance US during that time. And guys, the proposed agreement aims to address some of SEC's concerns but it does not go into details about broader lawsuits filed by the SEC against Binance. Now listen guys, both Binance USA and the main Binance have expressed their determination to defend themselves against the charges, stating that customer funds are safe and secure on the platforms. So in summary guys, the SEC is actually investing Binance for alleged security-related violations, and the temporary agreement ensure that customer funds are protected while the lawsuit is still going on. And what it does is it allows US customers to withdraw their funds. Now guys, we also have some news regarding Binance in Nigeria, and I do believe last week in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I did actually mention that the Nigerian regulators were aggressively going after Binance, but looks like Binance Nigeria is an outright scam. And CZ, the CEO of Binance, did actually mention via Twitter that Binance has issued a cease and desist notice to scammer entity Binance Nigeria Limited, and he did actually state that don't believe everything you read in the news. So what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, follow his tweets, and this is the reason guys why I often say is when you're looking at information, make sure you look at information from the first source. Nowadays there's so much of information. Having a lot of information is not important, but having information from the first source is the most important thing. And actually a Binance person did actually respond that the Binance Nigeria Limited is not at all affiliated with the company, and the spokesperson expressed the company's intention to seek clarity from Nigeria's Security Exchange Commission, and the spokesperson did actually reiterate that they are committed to cooperating with Nigerian Security Exchange Commission. So that's some update regarding Binance Nigeria Limited, and looks like it is a 100% scam company. Now guys, let's discuss two news regarding Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. The first news is massive news, and this is regarding OKX Exchange, and the news is that OKX Middle East receives MVP preparatory license from VARA in Dubai, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So OKX Middle East guys is a subsidiary of OKX and has received an MVP preparatory license, also called as Minimum Viable Product License, from Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. And guys, the UAE is a significant strategic hub for OKX globally and regionally, and the company plans to expand its operation in the Middle East. And OKX guys has established a new office in Dubai World Trade Center and aims to increase its Dubai staff to 30, focusing on local hires and senior management position. And the company plans to bring its 9-figure brand partnership to the UAE with customer and fan-focused activities. And with the MVP preparatory license, OKX Middle East can fulfill preconditions to conduct MVP operations within the VARA regulatory framework. And once fully licensed guys, OKX Middle East will provide spot, derivatives and fiat services including US and AED deposits, that is local currency or dirhams, withdrawals and spot pairs to institutional and qualified retail customers. And Lennox Lai guys, the OKX Global Chief Commercial Officer, expressed excitement about receiving the MVP regulatory license and the potential for growth in the MENA region. And Tim Brune, who is the OKX Global Head of Government Relations, emphasized Dubai and VARA's leadership in crypto regulations and importance of strong, clear regulations for virtual asset service providers. And by meeting VARA's comprehensive framework, operators ensure compliance, risk management, security and consumer protection, which fosters confidence in the industry. And Heather Rafiqas, OKX's Chief Marketing Officer, mentioned the company's commitment to transparency, security and innovation in the crypto industry. And OKX guys has published its proof of reserve for 7 consecutive months, distinguishing itself as the only cryptocurrency exchange with that commitment. And the company guys has been proactive in developing its Web3 ecosystem and introducing new security features while expanding its market depth. And guys, as we know, so far as Manchester City Football Club is concerned, OKX is aligned with brand partners such as Manchester City Football Club, McLaren Racing and Tribeca Festival as well. So they definitely have a lot of brand ambassadors all across the world. And guys, OKX's Middle East MVP license signifies a step towards operating within VARA's regulatory framework, definitely enhancing trust and compliance in the crypto industry. And the expansion of OKX's operations in the UAE reflects the company's recognition of the region's potential for Web3 and virtual assets. And overall guys, OKX aims to contribute to the growth and participation of the crypto and Web3 industry in the MENA region. So definitely positive news. Now guys, let's discuss some news regarding the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And guys, the news is that Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority recognized for achieving maturity in software development. So let me break down that news. So the news guys is that SDAIA, that is Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, has achieved the highest level of maturity in software development, recognized globally for process excellence. And SDAIA represented by the National Information Center, became the first agency in the Gulf Cooperation Council to be awarded CMMI Level 5 certification, and CMMI stands for Capability Maturity Model Integration, and Level 5 guys is the highest level of maturity within this model. Now, the software development life cycle of the National Information Center was evaluated by the CMMI Institute, specializing in software engineering and receiving the highest honor. And the CMMI Institute, guys, was established a little over a decade ago in 2012 and later acquired by non-profit association ISACA in 2016. And Saudi Arabia, guys, aims to position itself as a global leader in advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, software development as part of its Vision 2030 agenda. And guys, one trend which I've been observing, particularly so far as cryptocurrency, blockchain and artificial intelligence is concerned, Saudi Arabia news is definitely getting much stronger. Now, going back to the news regarding artificial intelligence, SDAIA's Deputy Director, Mishari Al-Mishari, expressed the agency's goal of creating a leading data and artificial intelligence-driven economy in Saudi Arabia. And guys, the belief system has changed as well. The belief in the potential of data is kind of likened to the data is the new oil. And Google's Vice President for Global Public Affairs and Public Policy, Karan Bhatia, highlighted Saudi Arabia's potential to maximize the benefits of artificial intelligence due to its young, educated population and commitment to innovation. And guys, establishing the right environment, policies, and skills for artificial intelligence is crucial for people, businesses, and communities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to benefit from artificial intelligence. And guys, a report by Stanford University ranks Saudi Arabia second globally for societal awareness of artificial intelligence, considering society's knowledge of the benefits and value of artificial intelligence products and services. And guys, listen, Saudi Arabia's technological prowess in artificial intelligence and data management serves as a benchmark for global process excellence, and the kingdom's focus on advanced technologies do actually align with Vision 2030 agenda. And the SDAIA's achievement of CMMI Level 5 certification demonstrates its commitment to software development community. And guys, lately, Saudi Arabia's favorable environment, policies, and skilled workforce can support the maximization of artificial intelligence potential for businesses and economies. So the recognition of Saudi Arabia's AI and software development capabilities contributes to its goal of becoming a global leader in the technology. So the big question to you guys is, in the next 5 years, who do you think will be a leader so far as artificial intelligence is concerned, so far as metaverse is concerned between, let's say, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates? Mention your thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. And that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. Guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And guys, for the next few minutes, there's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB, listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by Rashil who asks, I am new to Dubai and are there any events you would like to recommend to attend? To be honest, Rashil, when it comes to Bitcoin and blockchain, personally I wouldn't recommend to attend any events. Now, based on my experience, what I've noticed is a lot of the speakers, particularly so far as events is concerned, do not necessarily have the right knowledge and information regarding, let's say, the technology. What I've noticed is that people do actually pay to be speakers at some of the top events. And one thing which I did mention so far as GIDEX event is concerned, and I'm literally talking only about the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, I could literally count it in one hand the speakers who did have right information and knowledge. There was a lot of misleading and incorrect information. The only event I can think of is Crypto with Coffee, and they tend to have these sessions every Saturday, and that event takes place at Sheikh Zayed Road. Now, one thing to note, Rashil, is I'm no way affiliated with Crypto with Coffee or any of the events, and I do believe every Mondays there is a Bitcoin meetup as well, which is done by Adam. These are the only two events I would recommend to attend. Now, if you're looking at artificial intelligence events, what I would recommend you to do is, Rashil, go to the Dubai Future Foundation website, and they do have quite a lot of events, and some of them are actually paid events. Now, if you're getting into the artificial intelligence space, I would definitely recommend to go for the paid events, but they do tend to have quite a lot of free events, and these events are done at the Museum of the Future as well. Right now, because the weather is hot, the events have actually dried down, but I'm pretty much sure towards the last quarter, around October, November, December, there will be quite a lot of events. Personally, Rashil, I wouldn't recommend any events as of yet, but if there are any events that will actually come up, I will definitely mention them in our podcast. But what I used to do in 2020 and 2021, I used to cover a lot of these events, but what I realized after attending a lot of these events, that the events are absolutely not worthwhile at all. And as I said, what speakers they tend to do is they have just recently gotten into the Bitcoin blockchain space. They pay a fortune to be a speaker, and the attendees tend to believe what the speaker is saying just because he's a speaker, and that is definitely not ideal. So to answer your question, Rashid, there are only few events what I would recommend. One is Crypto with Coffee, and maybe the Bitcoin meetup that takes place, and the event organizer, I believe, is called as Adam. And once again, I'm no way affiliated to any of these events. So what you can do is go to www.meetup.com, look at these events, and to be honest, I would rather recommend you listen to my podcast or any other podcast, let's say like Laura Shin, Bankless, or maybe What Bitcoin Did, or even Anthony Pompliano's podcast, or even Andrea Antonopoulos. Other than that, 99.99% are absolutely rubbish. So those were my honest answer, Rashid. So that's all for today, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchainDXB.com, and check out my website, guys, www.blockchaindxb.com. And guys, also check out my other website, area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.